Hello. Today's topic is all about cohesion and adhesion. At the end of the lesson, you shall define cohesion, adhesion, surface tension, and capillary action. We'll describe how cohesion and adhesion are involved in natural phenomena. We'll explain the molecular forces responsible for cohesion and adhesion. Imagine a tiny insect effortlessly gliding across a surface of the pond, or a droplet of water perfectly resting on the edge of a leaf. Have you ever wondered what makes these simple yet fascinating moments possible? It all comes down to two special properties of water: cohesion and adhesion. Let's explore what these two terms mean and how they make water behave in such a unique ways. Cohesion. Cohesion refers to attraction between like molecules. In water, this happens because of the hydrogen bonds that pull water molecules tightly together. This strong attraction is what allows water to form droplets and maintain its shape instead of spreading out completely. Here we can see water droplets resting beautifully on the surface of leaves. The rounded shape of the droplets shows cohesion, or water molecules clinging to each other. At the same time, the droplets don't roll off easily because of adhesion. That's the next topic that what we will be discussing. Take a look at these water striders. They are standing on the surface of the water without sinking. That's cohesion at work again, where water molecules pull tightly together at the surface, creating a sort of invisible film called surface tension. This tension is strong enough to support the insect's weight. In this image, the swimmer looks as if they're wrapped in a thin sheet of cellophane of water. That's a clear illustration of surface tension. The cohesive forces between water molecules create a sort of skin on the surface, giving water its smooth stretch appearance. So, I've mentioned the word surface tension. What is it? Surface tension is the cohesive force at the surface of a liquid that makes it behave like a stretched elastic membrane. Because of this force, the surface of water acts like a thin film that resists external pressure. This is why small objects, like a needle or even a water strider, can float on water, even if they're denser than the water. Here we can see paper clips, needles, and even mosquitoes resting on the surface of water. They don't sink because surface tension creates a kind of invisible skin that supports their weight. The water molecules at the surface cling tightly to one another, forming this delicate yet strong film. Now that we understand surface tension, let's look at adhesion, the other key property that explains how water interacts with different surfaces. Adhesion. Adhesion is the attraction between dissimilar molecules. In simpler terms, it's what makes water stick to other surfaces. This happens because of the forces like hydrogen bonding, van der Waals forces, or electrostatic interactions that pull water molecules toward other materials. Here we can see the curved surface of water inside a graduated cylinder. This is what we call meniscus. This happens because of adhesion, or the water molecules are attracted to the glass, pulling the edges upward. And that's why it looks like letter U. At the same time, cohesion keeps the water molecules connected, creating that curved surface that we are familiar with. In this picture, in this setup, you can see a red-colored water slowly climbing up a tissue that bridges two glasses. This happens because of capillary action, or adhesion that pulls the water molecules up the tissue fibers, while cohesion keeps them connected, allowing the liquid to move against gravity. Look at how the droplets of water cling to a spider's web. The water sticks to the silk strands because of adhesion, while cohesion keeps each droplet intact and rounded. Together, these forces let the droplets hang gracefully without falling. So the difference between cohesion and adhesion is that in cohesion, water drops stick to each other, or water droplets stick to each other. In adhesion, water drops or water droplets stick to other substances. When a liquid is placed in a container, it can form a meniscus. But there are two kinds of meniscus that can be formed due to cohesion or adhesion. In concave meniscus, the picture at left, adhesion of liquid to tube is greater than the cohesion of liquid molecules. That's why it will form something like letter U. Whereas in the right side of this slide, a convex meniscus is formed. This is when cohesion of liquid molecules is greater than adhesion of liquid to container. One phenomenon that arises from adhesion is capillary action. Capillary action is the ability of a liquid to move through narrow spaces without any external help, not even gravity. This happens because of the teamwork between cohesive and adhesive forces. Cohesion pulls the water molecules together, while adhesion helps them climb along the surface of a material. This is a picture showing capillary action at work. Capillary action is liquid flow through a narrow space from the combined effects of cohesion and adhesion and surface tension. Capillary action does not require help from gravity and can even act counter to its force. And that's why water can move up through the xylems or vessels in plants. This simple yet powerful process is what allows water to travel upward through plant stems. The plant vessel that delivers water from the roots to the leaves are the xylems. Here we can see water moving up through the xylem of a plant. This upward movement is driven by capillary action, where adhesion helps water to stick to the walls of the xylem tubes and cohesion pulls other water molecules along. Together, they allow plants to transport water from the roots all the way to the leaves. This is a simple illustration of capillary action inside the xylem vessels. Cohesion helps the attraction between the same water molecules, and adhesion helps the water molecule stick to the walls of the xylem. In summary, cohesion is the attraction between like molecules. This is responsible for droplet formation and minimizing surface area. Example, this explains why water molecules form spherical droplets. Adhesion, on the other hand, is attraction between unlike molecules. This also allows liquids to interact with other surfaces. Example, water adhering to glass surfaces. There are two phenomena that arise from the interactions of cohesion and adhesion. The first one is surface tension. This is the result of cohesive forces at the liquid surface. It creates an elastic-like layer allowing small objects to float. Example, why water still forming beads on a surface, and why water can support light materials at its surface. Capillary action, on the other hand, is the ability of a liquid to flow in narrow spaces without external forces. It occurs when adhesive forces are stronger than cohesive forces. An example of that is water rising in a glass tube or moving through plant xylem. Thank you for listening.